Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Kent. I'm Reverend Stephen, minister of this congregation. Thank you for joining us as we gather both in person and on Zoom. We are a spiritual community that seeks to be diverse and inclusive as we inspire love, work for justice, and grow together in community. We extend a special welcome to our visitors. Thank you for worshiping with us this morning. Once again, welcome. Now I invite you to take a moment to breathe, to enter into this time of community and be fully present. Let's invite the Spirit to be present among us and to open our hearts to life and the gift of this day as we reflect on taking the spiritual journey inward to know who we truly are and the gifts and passions we have to share with the world. Come, let us worship together.
I am so busy in my day-to-day life that I rarely have time to breathe. I go to work, try to get a workout in, bike riding outside in the summer and inside on my trainer in the winter, and then eat dinner. I'm too exhausted to do much more than watch an episode or two of something on TV with my fiance. My weekends are spent trying to make up for all the things I couldn't get done during the week: grocery shopping, cleaning the house, running errands. And then, of course, I also want time to do the things I love: more biking, hiking, or spending valuable time with friends and family. With all the distractions of my pre-retirement life, I rarely have time to collect my thoughts and find my center. That is one of the reasons I come to this church. Today, we will quiet those many distracting voices inside our heads and seek out our true and spiritual selves in the silence. So take a deep breath, let it out slowly, and be present in this moment. As Unitarian Universalists, we light a flame within a chalice to unite us in worship and to remind us of our ongoing search for the light of truth within us and among us. The chalice is also a light to guide us on our shared journey and a reminder that we are all interconnected in the great web of existence of which we each are a beloved part. As Tripp lights our shared chalice, I invite those on Zoom to light your home chalice. Please join me in the words from our chalice lighting, which were adapted from the Reverend Scott Taylor. May we light, now we kindle, and the time we now share, anchor us to that inner flame, that sacred center, which helps us remember who we are.
If the children would like to come forward, I'd love to have you up here. So while y'all are getting settled, I have a secret to tell you, and that is that this time for all ages is for them. Not really, it's for them. You're going to help them today. So, what is a spiritual being? Who is a spiritual being? What does it mean to be a spiritual being? So, there's a reason that I work with children. There's a reason that working with children is where I am the most comfortable and where I love to spend my time, because of that face right there. Children can gaze at ants for hours on an anthill. Mindfulness. They feel a sense of despair when they see someone who is unhoused or hungry. Justice, mercy, compassion. They get really jazzed when they help other people. Charity, kindness. Children react with reverence often when seeing a dead animal on the side of the road. Or they spontaneously overflow with joy for seemingly small reasons. I'm recalling a time when my firstborn stepped out one morning at 2 years old after a snowstorm, gasped, and then just burst into laughter, looking at me, looking at the snow, looking at me, like, are you seeing this miracle, Mother? Look at that. The researcher A. Miller also compared the rage of teenagers and young adolescents to the rage of prophets, noting that they specialize in sniffing out hypocrisies, especially those of their friends and family. Miller goes on to say that shushing a teen and telling them that their perceptions are out of proportion to reality is like silencing a mystic. Perceptions are real. A full spiritual life, after all, is not characterized by knowing the answers, but by asking the questions, which, it turns out, kids and youth are really good at doing. So love comes unconditionally for children, and they have what seems to be an inborn desire to give of themselves. You see the joy in a child's face when they're doing something to help others and engaging in activities to give them purpose and affect other people makes them feel good. Parents can teach their children to be helpful and considerate, but it seems that children will help others just because they want to and just because they are already motivated to. So today, guys, this is why I brought you up here. Today, we are talking about finding a spiritual center and discovering how we serve and why we serve and where we serve and what that means to us as grown-ups, right? So I thought that you all could help them come up with some ideas before we head to class. Does that sound like a good idea? Okay. So what are some of the ways that you help others? Go ahead, Jill. When someone is sad, Joe comforts them. So Joe, can I ask you a follow-up question? Why? It makes you feel sad when someone is sad. That's called, do you know what that's called? Empathy. It feels good when other people feels good. It just feels nice. Who else? What are some of the ways that you help others? Iona? Welcoming people. Do we welcome just some people? No? Who? All people. And why? Because it hurts to feel left out. I'm feeling some empathy in this answer as well. Yeah. How else do we help out? How do we help out here at church? We do charity. We're doing Justice January right now, right? And the monthly community meals. Joe's bringing up the community meals being led by our youth right now to feed the hungry. Any other things? Why do we do good in this world? Let's hear from some people. Why do you do good in the world? Justin. To help people. Why else? To help them feel better about themselves, that people need people they can count on. To spread joy. What other reasons do we do good in the world? Mary? To diminish sadness. To dial down the sadness, bring the joy and the happiness. Go ahead. It's a terrible feeling to feel bad about yourself. So feeling good about yourself helps the world. Anybody else? Those are some pretty good ideas. I think that they've left you with some things to think about. Yeah? All right. Well, let's get our work of justice going and go to class. We're going to sing you out. I think we've left them with some good ideas. But we're not going to walk until that second verse, and everybody is together today downstairs.
You've got the light of love inside you. Go on your way in peace. So shine that light. This whole world now awaits you. Go on your way in peace. You
This thing called life is a mystery. Part of the many experiences we have are struggle and loss. But it makes it easier to deal with those if we hold one another in care and compassion, so we take time each week to share sorrows, struggles, and losses that are in our hearts. If you're on Zoom and have a sorrow, loss, or struggle to share, please use the chat box. I'd like to begin by saying that our beautiful flowers are from Jack Graham's memorial service yesterday. And I want to extend my thanks to our community for all the work you did to not only set up Hobbs Hall, but to make everyone attending feel welcome and included. Thank you. We hold Cheryl Spohr in our heart. Cheryl will be having surgery on Tuesday, and we pray that that goes well for her and she has a quick recovery. We hold Kathy Weiland in our heart. She had an accident last week, but she's healing and doing okay. Max Grubb asks us to remember those in the mass shooting at the Monterey Lunar Celebration in California. Mike shares a concern of struggling with social anxiety. We hold you in our hearts and make space. I invite the community now into the spirit of prayer with these words of Maureen Killeran. This prayer is for all who are fearful about the economy, about the fate of our country, health care for yourself or your children. This prayer is for all whose heart aches at the injustices being done to others, for all who fear for the survival of our planet, for all who fear whether they will be allowed to enter or to leave or to remain. We make this prayer together for all who deal daily with failing health, difficult diagnoses, challenging treatments, or healthcare routines, for all who struggle with difficulties at school or work, for all who are facing hard decisions, for all who are living in challenging relationships. We make this prayer for ourselves, for all the fears and concerns, the joys and celebrations. We make our prayer for the children, for their future, and for all the possibilities that life offers. We make a prayer together to hold in our hearts all the precious blessings of our lives. We make this prayer not because we expect it to make the world turn or change, but to remind ourselves of who we are, of what life is, and how important love is. We make this prayer because these words are what we need. May it be so. Bonnie offers gratitude for her Massachusetts sister who visited and stayed with 86-year-old medically fragile Buffalo-located parents. She's able to stay, work online, and assist them. Swanee says, I am excited to attend an environmental networking event organized by Renee Rahusky this Tuesday at Hobbs Hall. At 5 o'clock, there's a potluck, and 6 o'clock, the event begins. Okay. All right. Okay. Trudy shares, my mother has finished radiation treatments. Yay. Julie echoes our thanks to Blaine for his work to install a dolly that allows us to move the piano in Hobbs Hall much easier. Thank you, Blaine. And we celebrate Trish McLaughlin, who had a birthday yesterday. And we celebrate Bonnie Harper, who has a birthday today. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Bonnie. Happy birthday to you. And Nancy shares that I am grateful that my senior housing came through. Yay, we wish you a smooth and easy move and a safe and happy home. And now with gratitude for these and every blessing we receive in life, for the gift of life itself, for the companionship of each other on our journey, for the beauty of our world, and for the day with all its possibilities. Let us raise our hearts in gladness and together say, Amen. Remaining seated, would you join now in singing our hymn of community, number 55, Dark of Winter.
This reading is Song of the Soul by Khalil Gibran. In the depth of my soul, there is a wordless song, a song that lives in the seed of my heart. It refuses to melt with ink on parchment. It engulfs my affection in a transparent cloak and flows, but not upon my lips. How can I sing it? I fear it may mingle with earthly ether. To whom shall I sing it? It dwells in the house of my soul, in fear of harsh ears. When I look into my inner eyes, I see the shadow of its shadow. When I touch my fingertips, I feel its vibrations. The deeds of my hands heed its presence, as a lake must reflect the glittering stars. My tears reveal it, as bright drops of dew reveal the secret of a withering rose. It is a song composed by contemplation and published by silence and shunned by clamor and folded by truth and repeated by dreams and understood by love and hidden by awakening and sung by the soul.
If you take the train out of Paris headed southwest, you go past Versailles, and in just over an hour you will see Chartres Cathedral towering over the fields. Chartres, the queen of cathedrals, renowned for over 150 glowing 13th century stained glass windows. It is also known for a pattern etched into the stones of the cathedral's floor over 1,000 years ago, a labyrinth. The labyrinth in Chartres Cathedral was originally designed as a symbolic pilgrimage to Jerusalem for people who could not actually travel to the Holy Land. Labyrinths experienced a renaissance in the 1990s, and today they're popular as a spiritual practice, offering an opportunity for prayer or meditation or reflection. Today I use it as a metaphor to represent the journey to our own center and back again out into the world. You cannot get lost in a labyrinth, unlike a maze, and the center of the labyrinth is visible from any point on your journey. There are twists and turns, but like looking at anything from various angles, different views of the path can bring a new perspective. And as you travel, what will you find at your center, the very core of your being? As with any spiritual practice, if it is your intent, you will encounter the sacred heart of life itself, the divine, the spirit that dwells within. You may also journey to the center to be reminded of who you truly are. A therapist once asked me, "Who are you?" I seized the opportunity to demonstrate my self-awareness by listing not only my good qualities, but also naming my shadow side, my struggles and imperfections. Her reply was, "I didn't ask you for a list of your qualities." And again she asked, "Who are you?" I replied, "I'm a minister with a passion for social justice, for inviting people to lead authentic lives, for helping people discover their connections with life and the divine." She said, "Getting warmer." One more time she asked, "Stephen, who are you?" And I sat there what felt like an eternity, and thought, and thought, and thought. And then the aha came, and I said, "I am a child of God. I have within me a spark of the divine." Then just for fun, I started singing, "We are stardust, we are golden." To which she replied laughing, "I do know you're not Joni Mitchell." But I had spoken a deep truth about who we each are. We are made of stardust. We each have a spark of the divine. We hold mystery within us. We have a true self. We are, each and every one of us, a child of God. We are loved just as we are. Will you hear this powerful truth this morning? Will you simply dwell in the love that holds you? It's inside you, and it's all around you, and it's yours to experience at any and every moment in your life. One of the core beliefs of Unitarian Universalism is that we can have a personal and intimate relationship with the sacred however we each understand it. A relationship that does not need to be mediated by others nor formed by a religious tradition. Ralph Waldo Emerson was a 19th century Unitarian who was quite critical of American Unitarianism. He spoke of it as cold and stale and trapped in tradition, even though at the time it was less than 50 years old. He encouraged people to have a direct experience of the divine. He wrote, "Why should not we also enjoy an original relationship to the universe? Why should we not have a poetry and philosophy of insight and not a tradition, and a religion by revelation to us and not the history of theirs?" The insight, the revelation of which Emerson and many other prophets and teachers have spoken of through time, comes from the home of our soul, from within us. January's Soul Matters theme is finding our center. This is some of our most spiritual work. Turning inward to experience, as our first source says, the transcending mystery and wonder which renews our spirits. A wordless song that lives in our hearts, sung by our soul. Something within us, yet greater than us. In this relationship with the depths of the sacred, we also remember, because somewhere inside us we know that we are not our careers, our achievements, or what Madison Avenue tells us we are supposed to be, or do, or look like, or wear. The home of your soul, your true self, free of the expectations, free of the false self, with all illusions stripped away. Our inherent worth and dignity simply because we are. That powerful truth is expressed in our first principle. If you're thinking, well, that sounds self-centered or even narcissistic, making a regular practice of finding your center, caring for yourself, the opposite is true. John O'Donohue wrote that as soon as you rest in the home of your own heart, doors and windows begin to open outward to the world. No longer on the run from yourself, your connections with others become real and creative. In knowing yourself, you gain an understanding of what matters most to you in life, your passions, the gifts you have to share with the world, and you can enter into a deeper relationship with all of life. Isn't that ultimately why we're here on this earth and in this community? To become our fullest selves? To offer our lives in love and service to others? We're going to take time for silence this morning, to turn inward to that place where love dwells and where we remember who we truly are. I brought some paper copies of the Chartres Labyrinth, which you can use as a means of meditation to find your way to the center. You can trace the labyrinth with your finger if you'd like. If you'd like a copy, raise your hand. Know that whatever spiritual practice you use to find your way to the center of who you are, and there are many different ways, meditation, prayer, simply sitting in silence. The time of silence we spend together is a gift. I invite you to use in whatever way you need this morning to nurture your spirit. The African-American theologian Howard Thurman wrote, "How good it is to center down. We look at ourselves in this waiting moment, the kind of people we are. The questions persist. Where do we put the emphasis, and where are our values focused? Where is my treasure? And what do I love most in life? Over and over, he says, the questions beat in upon the waiting moment. As we listen, floating up through all the jangling echoes of our turbulence, there is a sound of another kind, a deeper note, which only the stillness of the heart makes clear. It moves directly to the core of our being. Our questions are answered, our spirits refreshed, and we move back into the traffic of our daily round with the peace of the eternal in our step. How good it is to center down. Now let's take our extended time of silence to center down, to go deep into the core of our being, to renew our relationship with the spark of the divine inside us, and to listen to the truth of who we are and the gifts and passions of our truest self. Let's enter our silence. Thank you, Vincent. There are many ways in which we can share our gifts in the world. One of them is to share of our financial resources, giving to agencies and organizations in Kent and beyond that serve those in need. Our children and youth for Justice January selected Kent PFLAG for our special offering. PFLAG is a national organization that provides support, education, and advocacy for members of the LGBTQIA+ community, their families, and allies. Each chapter is self-supporting and depends on the generosity of its friends and allies. In the spirit of gratitude for the gift of each other and this community and the abundance that makes our generosity possible, we now give and receive the offering as a sign of our shared commitment to this congregation's life and work and to blessing our world. Will the ushers please receive the offering? The world is waiting for us, for our gifts and passions and the ways we will bless it. So to prepare ourselves to return to the world, would you join me in extinguishing our chalice and bringing our worship to its close? We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. May we carry these in our hearts and minds until we are together again. I offer you these words of John O'Donohue. May you awaken to the mystery of being here and enter the quiet immensity of your own presence. May you respond to the call of your gifts and find the courage to follow your path. May you take time to celebrate the quiet miracles that seek no attention. May you be consoled in the secret symmetry of your soul. And may you experience each day as a sacred gift woven around the heart of wonder. And now, trusting that the spiritual journey to the home of our souls helps us know who we are and the gifts and passions we each have to share, let us go forth to experience each day as a sacred gift and continue to inspire love, work for justice, and grow together in community. May it be so. Blessed be. Amen. And I see the divine